It was May 1949 in the bombed-out cities of a divided Germany. Survivors picked their way through rubble, unsure of what lay ahead. The Nazi era was over. The war was lost. The nation was disgraced, occupied, and broken. And yet, in this silence, a new voice emerged, calm, firm, deliberate. A man in his 70s with a deep Catholic faith, a legal mind, and the experience of survival. His name was Konrad Adenauer, and he would not pretend the past had not happened. He would not rewrite it, but he would refuse to let it define Germany's future. This is the story of Adenauer, the man who guided West Germany from ruin to recovery, laid the foundations for democracy, and helped anchor Europe in peace and unity, not by forgetting history, but by facing it and building beyond it. Konrad Adenauer was born on January 5, 1876, in Cologne, then part of the German Empire under Kaiser Wilhelm I. His father was a court clerk, modest, loyal, conservative. His mother was Catholic and deeply religious. Adenauer studied law and political science in Freiburg, Munich, and Bonn. He rose through the local administration with discipline and prudence. By 1917, the middle of the First World War, he became mayor of Cologne, one of Germany's largest cities. He was 41, and he held that position with only brief interruptions for the next 16 years. He was no revolutionary, but neither was he blind to change. He improved infrastructure, modernized schools and transportation, and brought international investment to the Rhineland. He was a Catholic centrist, pragmatic, cautious, and committed to stability. And when the Nazi tide began to rise, he refused to join it. That refusal would nearly destroy him. When Hitler came to power in 1933, Adenauer was removed from office. He rejected National Socialism outright. He believed it was dangerous, irrational, and catastrophic not only for Jews, socialists, and dissenters, but for Germany itself. During the Nazi years, Adenauer lived in quiet resistance. He was arrested multiple times, lived under surveillance, and lost much of his wealth and public standing. In 1944, after the failed July 20th plot to assassinate Hitler, Adenauer was again detained by the Gestapo. He survived, and when the Third Reich collapsed in 1945, Nation.Germany in 1945 was not just defeated, it was disgraced. 6 million Jews murdered. Tens of millions killed in a war of aggression. Cities bombed, institutions destroyed, trust obliterated. The Allied powers divided the country into 4 occupation zones. The Eastern Zone fell under Soviet control. The West, under the Americans, British, and French. What kind of Germany could rise from this? Could it ever be trusted again? Adenauer believed it could, but only through democracy, transparency, and a total break with dictatorship. In 1949, the Western zones formed the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, and Adenauer, now 73 years old, was elected its first chancellor. He would hold the office for the next 14 years, longer than anyone before or since, from the beginning. Adenauer focused on 3 things: restoring legitimacy, at home reconciling, with former enemies integrating Germany into the Western alliances. Policies were clear-eyed and often unpopular. He banned the Communist Party. He centralized power in Bonn. He made clear that West Germany would never return to authoritarianism, but would also resist the pull of the Soviet East. He brought Ludwig Erhard, an economist, into government and backed the social market economy, combining free enterprise with a strong welfare state. The result? By the mid-1950s, the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, was underway. Factories reopened, employment rose. West Germany became one of Europe's fastest-growing economies. But rebuilding material strength was only part of the project. The deeper task was moral. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Adenauer did not pretend that the Holocaust had not happened. He did not romanticize the Wehrmacht. He did not deny Germany's guilt. In 1952, he reached out to the newly formed State of Israel and offered reparations. It was a controversial and unprecedented step. Thousands protested. Many Israelis, including Holocaust survivors, rejected the idea of German money, but Adenauer insisted. The federal government and the great majority of the German people are aware of the immeasurable suffering done to the Jews in the name of the German people. That same year, Deutschmarks, to Israel and Jewish organizations. It was one of the first times a modern nation publicly acknowledged and compensated for mass atrocity. It did not erase the past, but it marked a beginning. Adenauer believed Germany's future lay in the West, not in nostalgic empire or nationalist isolation. He supported membership in NATO. He embraced the European coal and steel community, the first step toward what would become the European Union. His closest diplomatic partner was France's Charles de Gaulle, a former enemy. Together, they helped lay the groundwork for a Franco-German reconciliation and for European peace after centuries of war. In 1963, their two countries signed the LEC Treaty, formalizing their alliance. By this time, Adenauer was nearly 90, but he remained deeply involved in foreign affairs, shaping treaties, guiding policy, and urging unity over revenge. He understood what nationalism had done, and he sought to replace it with cooperation. Adenauer resigned as Chancellor in 1963 at the age of 87. He died 4 years later in 1967. At his home near Bonn. By then, West Germany was stable, prosperous, and democratic. A remarkable transformation. He was not a revolutionary, he was not charismatic. He was often stubborn, secretive, and autocratic in his methods, but he was effective, and perhaps most importantly, he was trustworthy in a time when trust had been annihilated. He helped Germany look forward without denying its crimes. He helped bind Europe together without erasing its borders. He helped democracy take root in a place where fascism had reigned. Konrad Adenauer was no mythic hero. He was an old man in a young republic, a Catholic statesman in a secular world, a conservative who rebuilt from the ashes of the most radical regime in history. He knew that democracy alone could not heal a wounded its future. Today, Germany stands not just as an economic power, but as one of the most stable democracies in the world. Much of that is because of what Adenauer built, quietly, firmly, without illusion. He did not shout, he did not march. He did not promise greatness. He promised responsibility, and he delivered.